Simonson. I'm a whole food plant-based culinary coach and lifestyle medical coach. I've been with a medical practice, lifestyle medical practice for, gosh, going on 6 years. And I work with patients to bring about wellness or to stay well using food as medicine. Yippee! I wrote my book, Aging Powerfully, 3 years ago when I turned 70. And I feel like I'm aging backwards. I love it because I can eat what I want, keep my weight down, eating whole food, plant-based. I'll say oil-free, but you're gonna see I use some oil once in a while in things like on a sticky pan, and sugar-free and low salt. Anyway, today I am inspired to try something that I saw on Ann and Jane Esselstyn's channel, and I'll put a link in here. And that was the demonstration, and you should go and see this because you can get it all down pat, but I'm experimenting, so I'm showing my group what was done. And that was a lentil flatbread. I have a number of flatbreads, a quinoa buckwheat flatbread, an oat flatbread on my channel. NanSimonson.com is my website. My YouTube channel is Nan Simonson. And I like them all, but I love the way this looked. And I have a couple of lentil flatbread recipes, both of which recommend a sleepy period for those lentils. What I mean is, one recommends soaking the lentils for 6 to 7 hours and then blending them. The other recommends grinding the lentils into a flour using something like a Vitamix, which is what I did. I just dumped a pound of lentils into my Vitamix, whirred it up, ended up with a lentil flour. It was just like flour. Mixed it up, and I could have used it right away, but Chef Karen, who has a master's degree in science, is also a registered dietitian, and recommends in her recipe, the one I'm showing you now, that it sit for at least 20 minutes, and she even likes to let it sit overnight. So this has been sitting for 2 days. I started it, today's Monday, I started it on Saturday, never got a chance to make it Saturday or Sunday, and I'm doing it today because I want to do this for dinner. So let me get started. This is, I just love this. It's supposed to be non-stick, and you can see that it's had some wear. It's by Presto, it's a griddle. In many of the demonstrations, they use a round non-stick pan. I didn't want to do 2 pans at once. I didn't want to do one flatbread at a time. This will do about 8 half-cup flatbreads. So I'm just using my griddle, and I'll scoop the batter up. Let me grab this. Okay. So what I did is I ground the lentils, put water and a little bit of salt, let it, oh, and this one is different than the other one that I've made, the lentils that had to soak and then were blended in the blender without being turned into flour first. That has a lot of seasonings, a lot of Middle Eastern seasonings, which I could have left out. I like the idea that this uses a flax egg, actually the equivalent of 2 flax eggs, and that's flax, ground flaxseed with some water. You let that sit 20 minutes, it becomes viscous. In this case, for the cup of lentil flour and 2 cups of water, in essence, I did 2 flax eggs, 2 tablespoons of flax, 4 tablespoons of water, let it sit. Again, it's been sitting for quite a while. So I'm going to spray, and this is avocado oil, organic avocado oil, because it takes a higher heat than most oils. And I have this griddle up to 4, I think I have it up to 350, maybe a little bit hotter. Okay, let's see what happens with 1/3 of a cup. Let's see how far it's spread. I don't need them to be too big. I'm going to add a little more. All right, do the same thing here. I had my half-cup measure out, and just before I went on, I must have laid it down somewhere. Okay. All right. So these are going to cook for, it could be, based on my other recipe, it could be 4 minutes per side. We're just going to wait for them to get bubbly and turn it up a little bit. And to, when I lift the edge, be brown on the other side. Now, what did they serve this with? What I love about flatbreads that you make this way is that they are whole grain. So they are whole food plant-based. Yes, the grain's been pulverized to a degree, whether it was whole lentils soaked then blended with water, or made into a flour ground with water. Yes, they have been broken apart. It's like the difference between oat groats and, well, let's say instant oats or oat flour. The difference, though, is that nothing has been taken away, and that's why you wouldn't say this is, well, it's processed but not highly processed. It's still the whole food. Nothing's been taken away. Nothing's been added to that food other than the seasonings and the water. I'm not sure this is ready yet, but maybe. Yeah. Yep. I'm gonna give it just a touch more time to, I'll just say to get thicker at the bottom so I can flip them more easily. So what did Chef Karen show Anne and Jane? And again, I'm adding the link, watch them. But I'll tell you, because this is what I'm gonna do. We're going to do flatbread wraps tonight for dinner. What she had done is she had made a ricotta out of cashew, a cashew ricotta with some sweet potato. You'll see that demonstrated. I'm doing the same thing. I actually just Googled sweet bread ricotta. I came up with a couple of recipes that gave me an idea how to do that. And even though I like this paddle because it is wide, it's thicker than I would like it. So there's a little bit of resistance here. I'm gonna try one of my other spatulas and see if I like that better. See, even this is a non-stick surface, but that doesn't mean that these things don't stick. It's been well seasoned because I've used it again and again. And I'm gonna let it sit a bit. So she also had sauteed spinach. I've got some Swiss chard I'm going to, and when I say saute, I mean dry saute or saute with broth and garlic and seasonings. So chopped spinach, I'll have chopped chard in a bowl. Mushrooms, sauteed mushrooms with some, in my case, it will be leeks, and that will be in a bowl. She had caramelized onions to add to it. The cashew ricotta would be at the bottom. I could simply use hummus, and I have hummus as well. This is loaded with protein. So in essence, your protein is your wrap. But you can also, because I'm doing this, I'm doing some tofu crumbles tonight from my frozen tofu. That's on my website. So I think I called it my favorite tofu crumbles. They're really good. Ooh, nice. Yeah, this is better than that silicone one that's sort of drab. If you don't let it sit long enough, it will come apart. And it's funny because Anne and Jane said, the first one you try to turn is always the one that sticks, and they were right. This was the first. So that's what I wanted to show you. I want to encourage you to try the flatbreads. I am gluten-free. I'm not celiac, but I definitely have a gluten sensitivity. I am whole food plant-based, so there is no animal product, no egg, dairy, of course butter, meat of any kind in my diet. And so this kind of a meal, plenty of protein, lots of vegetables, really fun to put together because anything could be in this, is great. And when I get my 6 to 8 of these made, I could have an assortment of different flatbreads made. The oat flatbread that's on my channel is so easy. It's just oats and water and whatever seasonings you want. And the same thing, and I make them smaller. And we went camping, well, we didn't camp, but we went hiking in Canada when we went there for, oh gosh, several weeks, going to several areas in Alberta and then Calgary. And I could have sandwiches with my oat flatbread. I did some nut butter sandwiches because when you're gone for the day and you're not having regular sandwiches, you gotta have something. And these flatbreads work beautifully. There's no oil in them, no butter, no fat in them, and they're really healthy. So that's what I wanted to show you. I will print this recipe. I'll also include their link. And what I wanted to do is show it to you again. Yeah, I can do that without burning myself badly. With the flax egg, I do believe this will be more pliable than without it. But look at this. Oh, 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 look at this. Isn't that a beauty? There you go. And I'll be able to, and she does recommend warming them because they're a little more brittle when they're not warm. But I'll be able to warm them tonight, and we'll have a couple of them. That's all. I hope you got something out of this. If you did, subscribe and share and do all those things. Thumbs up, it does make a difference. And my message is that even at 73, I believe with a whole food, plant-based, and lifestyle as medicine, which I cover in my book, you can go on decades longer than what some people think is old age. I was about to turn 70. I thought, here comes old age. Everything's going to fall apart. That's not true. I have 1, 2, 3 decades to go, knock on wood. And I intend to make them fabulous. Have a great day. I know I will. Bye-bye.